If you are an educator trying to scale your school community, then let me save you some time. Because I spent the last 7 years obsessing about this mission, where I want to prepare 1 billion learners for the future. And I realized very early on this is not something that I can do by myself. I need your help. And I want to help you scale your community so that we can actually prepare 1 billion learners for the future. And across these 7 years, I've made multiple mistakes. And I want to make sure that you're learning from my lessons and in this video, I want to specifically show you how I went from like an NPC in the traditional education system, doing dumb shit like almost cutting off my leg while playing Fruit Ninja, to speaking on stage at a company that is generating hundreds of millions of dollars, to helping Aiden Labresh with synthesizer scaling, which had some incredible, unbelievable results. So if you have a school community and you're confused or overwhelmed by all of the advice and the tools and the AI that is out there, then I hope this video will help you and also help you understand who I am and my seasons as I'm going through them. And we are starting in season number 1, which is me still being an NPC. So this was me basically getting drunk every weekend, studying something that I hated, where I had to commute for like 2 hours. And it wasn't something that I chose myself. It was more something that my parents chose and wanted for me. And ultimately, I woke up from this NPC lifestyle when I almost cut off my leg. And I felt so stupid doing that, that I wanted this to be the dumbest decision that I would ever make. And from there on, I decided to choose my own reality. I decided that I want to be the hero of my own story and actually have an impact on my life. And this is where I then understood what my purpose was, which is to improve the education system. So that's what I did from 2019 to 22, where I actually ended up studying again. But this time I worked and studied at the same time. So I got the skills of being a project manager. I got to study and understand business as well as IT, because I knew that eventually I want to scale this to like 1 billion people that actually helping. So I knew I had to make these lessons, and I figured instead of like paying for all of this, I could get paid to do the work for someone else while learning the skills that were necessary. So from there on, I started to go deep into systems. This is like me very early on working with Google Sheets, eventually transitioning to Airtable, and then ultimately landing at Notion, which I'm now using to like run everything, the whole operations and the community and the content and the sales and the like everything. But this is where I started by like wanting to gamify the progress that I was making and understanding the goals that I had. So I had that idea very early on, and I started to execute that and implement different project management methodologies, while also rising up in the company, where I ended up being a team lead and helping the next students with the onboarding and make sure that I am sharing the lessons that I have learned, because I knew I wanted to go into education. So even though working at a big corporation, I was still able to do the things that I wanted and get paid to learn the skills that I knew I needed. So this was my second season, which lasted for 3 years. And then afterwards, admittedly, I was a little bit cocky. Thought I knew everything better. And I thought I just have to like get in front of people. And I figured, okay, let me just learn marketing in 2023. So I traveled through Europe. I attended like every workshop from Christo, and like here's like the Teacher Academy in Barcelona. And I really wanted to understand how education was like working at the moment. So this was like the business education. This was like the teacher education. And I also attended like Mind Valley University. So this was the second time, and actually got to be a speaker at the second time. I was talking about the game of life and how to actually make learning more fun again. And I had all of these like amazing successes, I would say, speaking at stage in front of thousands of people. being able to like teach teachers how to use virtual reality, as well as like learn from someone like Chris Do, who has millions of followers themselves. But the problem was I didn't know how to sell. So marketing without sales just burns through cash. And this brings me to my next season because eventually I just ran out of cash and I was like, oh shit, I need to like get a job. But now I wanted to take the lesson that I learned before, which is like getting paid to learn. So I figured I want to learn sales in a gamified education platform. And I figured B2B was the way to go. So I started job hunting. So I also got into archery during this time, and I thought this was a better picture than like me looking through LinkedIn. Also, I don't have that. But I started job hunting and I was very specific at what kind of job I wanted to work at. And I ended up working for one of the best startups in whole of Germany. So this is Masterplan in Berlin, which is selling gamified education to businesses, teaching them how to use AI. And I was like, this is amazing, fantastic, exactly what I wanted. And I dove deep into that. We did like some cool retreats. I went to like big events, and I really understood how to sell, how to do outreach, how to do calls, all of that. But at the end, I still learned another lesson, which is that it doesn't matter how hard you row if you're in the wrong boat, because this was all of our sales team. And I would say we were like making decent money. Things were somewhat working. But then I found this platform called School. And I saw that a team of 5 was actually making more than the whole startup of Masterplan. And I was like, "Oh, I've been wanting to go on School all this time, but I was just locked in at Masterplan." So then I switched and I figured, okay, let me do my own thing on School. And this is where I learned the operations side of it. I went like hard on School. So got the merge, as you can see. Uh, and I really wanted to help everyone with like everything in the beginning and apply the things that I learned before in marketing and sales. And I was just generally being helpful, building my community, going to IRL events where I met like the Goosify team. And we had like some fun. And like this is actually right there. So I'm glad that this is such a beautiful day that I get to record outside. And I made these connections and I actually ended up also working with Aidan LeBrush, who is now the owner of Synthesizer Scaling and the host of Synthesizer, which is a community from Andrew Kirby. And I knew that this is the community to be in. So this is Synthesizer Scaling. And I actually helped with the launch. I helped with the delivery. We ended up generating the first cohort like 3 million in client revenue. And since then, Synthesizer Scaling has scaled to over 300,000 in monthly recurring revenue. And during this time, when like really being in the beginning of that and like seeing how all of that is being built from the ground up, I learned how to do operations, how to do the over delivery, and like how to connect even more deeply with people in School and like help them learn. And that's where I really learned that the over delivery part is where all of that momentum is coming from and actually what gets people the results. So after I've experienced this and like helped other people do that, I was like, oh, like I want to do even more of that and connect people in real life and like see if I can do this for myself. So that's how I ended up moving to Barcelona. And I did a co-living experience with Tibor, where we started to kind of like work together and like help each other with our business. And this is the time where we both, with our own business, actually got past 10K. So incredible time, still excited to do much more of that. So then in Q1, I started going to like these festivals where with Calvin Hollywood here in Germany, where we were just like meeting all these other schoolers and like interacting and helping as much as possible. And that actually got me invited to the mastermind retreat or in the castle with Matthew Thompson. So here I learned so much on how to actually have an in real life community doing co-working, being at a massive festival with Calvin, doing these retreats. And this is where I was like, oh my God, this is like the best thing. And I only want to continue doing that. So now I'm actually hosting Aiden, who I helped in the previous season with synthesizer scaling. And we are like hosting an unofficial synthesizer scaling event here. So this is actually next week. So super excited about that, already deep in the planning and the preparation. And that's kind of like the season that I'm more or less in right now. And in the beginning, I promised you 7 seasons. And this is like where I'm now transitioning into. And I'm still not sure on like how this is actually going to go. I'm maybe going to the US and do a road trip and do like a school bus tour, or kind of like I'm pretty sure that this is going to happen, while I'm also scaling like more school communities, specifically using Notion and AI, because that's like where everything is going. And like going deeper into like how can we actually help communities scale, because like I want to create this like future where everyone is able to learn in a fun way, and where we are integrated with AI, where we are able to experience some of the best stories through virtual reality, and where we are able to like actually experience the future and become a multiplanetary species. Because this is ultimately everything that we are doing as educators. We want to prepare the next generation for the future. And this is what I'm all about. This is who I want to help. This is my journey, the lessons that I've learned, the mistakes that I made. So with that, I hope you found this useful. I'm excited to continue learning, growing, and scaling together. And I'll see you in the community. Peace and enjoy the journey. Bye bye.